Weight loss solutions are not one size fits all. Hers makes it simpler to get started and stick with a weight loss plan, backed by expert-guided online care that puts your weight loss goals first. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full upfront. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply.
Take me out to left field. Give me a shot of Fireball. Give me some high fives from Mark Pena and a hug from Jeff Cross as we stand on top of the tables. Hearing the horns, that's a blast. For it's 1, 2, 3 shots from the cannon with the ladies of left field.
Hey, y'all. It's game time with the ladies of left field. I got Kasey and Katie here, as usual.
Hello.
And we will have a special guest joining us in a few. But to start off, let's hit our hot girl headlines for the week. It is a slow time, but we still got headlines for y'all. Don't worry.
We do. And without fail, Scottie Scheffler did not disappoint. He won the Open over in Ireland. So continued to show his dominance there. Even with the crowd, everybody there, I mean, vocally cheering for Rory, I mean, which was fine. I mean, they were nice about things, but I mean, it was evident they were definitely cheering for Rory and, you know, being all in it. But Scottie just didn't let it get to him. He just cruised on and just quite amazing, really. I mean, and doesn't show any real emotion. At the end, though, he finally did. You know, he kind of both arms up in the air, you know, kind of fist pump, threw his hat down on the ground. So, it's good I like to see some of that, you know, because he's just so level-headed out there. And yet you hear how truly, truly competitive he is. And I actually listened to John Fields, his college coach, had a media availability yesterday with like people asking, you know, just getting their take on him. And he talked about when one of the years when we had Dell match play here in Austin, and he lost to John Rahm on the 17th hole. This is all fresh in my mind from listening to that interview. And that, you know, he gets in the cart and he, you know, is taken up close to the clubhouse and he sees Coach Fields and Coach Fields' wife and then his own wife, Meredith. But there are all these kids right there. And so he signs all the autographs of all the things that everybody wants, you know, and he's, you know, very gracious. And then once he gets in the cart and they like are heading to the car, like he puts his head down and starts crying because he's so mad that he lost. And John Fields said, he goes, that's not the first time I've seen that reaction from him. He's that competitive. And he said that he's like one of 5 golfers that he's coached in his life, you know, in his career that, or at least from Texas, that are that way. And he said that Bo Hostler, Jordan, Cody Gribble, and there was one other, I don't know if it was from Texas or somewhere else, that he said, you know, had that same super competitive fire in them or whatever. But anyway, I just thought it was really, you know, really interesting take and, you know, on Scottie and how he is. But he clearly is the number one golfer out there. And they're, you know, when any of the other ones get interviewed, they're like, we're just chasing him. We'll see what we can do. The FedEx Cup playoffs will begin in a couple of weeks, August 4th. And that's kind of a setup where you have the top 70 players play in the first tournament. The following week, it's the 50 players, the top 50. And then the actual tour championship where you have 30 players. And this year, they're not doing that weird scoring where they give them those additional strokes. It's just straight up, everybody's starting level. And I think that's a much better decision.
I love that because like it kind of was confusing. Why are you giving the guy who is obviously already very good and potentially going to win. Why are you giving him more strokes?
You get this one at -10.
Yeah. Like we should be handicapping him the other way or something. Oh yeah. No, that is so, and it'll be better for fans too, just watching.
Yes.
Like, last year you tuned in, you're like, Scotty's already 12 strokes ahead, and it's where he's on hole 2. Like, why?
Yeah. If you weren't following, and if you didn't follow anything, closely, you have no idea what's going on. You're like, how does he -12 after 2 holes? Like that doesn't make sense. There is no -6 on a hole.
All right, y'all. So I'm going to do MLB again. Not much has changed. But so in the AL, the Blue Jays, the Tigers, and the Astros are all leading their divisions. In the NL, the Phillies are up there, and our Cubs and Brewers are still tied in the NL Central. And the Dodgers are still leading the National League Central as well. But the Dodgers bullpen is like having major struggles. They are really, really like hitting rock bottom. So we'll see if they can kind of pull it together and stay in the lead. And I'm happy as a Cubs fan. The Brewers did end their winning streak after 11 games straight, which is pretty phenomenal. I must say thank you to the Seattle Mariners for breaking up that Brewers winning streak. And now it gets interesting because we're getting closer to Major League Baseball playoffs, and the trade deadline comes up here on July 31st at 6 p.m. Eastern. And so this is the time that a lot of teams really start looking at trades if they're going to make the playoffs. And so you'll start to see players and pitchers move around, and especially if they're not going to be in the playoffs, they might try to get into a team that will make the playoffs. And same thing, teams will be looking to get players maybe aren't going to the playoffs but are really good onto their team specifically for the playoffs. So it's kind of interesting in Major League Baseball right now. So that's kind of cool. Also, we talked about Max Ballou. Apparently this week he signed a really great deal with the Rockies, who are still struggling at the bottom of the league, but I think Max is going to get like a cool $5 million as his signing. So go Max Ballou. We'll hang out with the Balloos. So that'd be great.
That's awesome. We should make a trip to, I don't know where all the Colorado minor league teams are, but when he makes it up to the majors, we're all going to
go. Yeah. So.
And then I will take it away with some news that came out on Wednesday. Texas Athletics Hall of Honor has released their list of the honorees that will be coming in this coming year. We have Kristen Wengler Burton for swimming and diving, Nate Dusing swimming and diving, Haley Eckerman, woo, go Haley, Longhorn volleyball player, Nicole Devonish Gilmore from track and field, Royal Ivy, and Tiffany Jackson from basketball, men's and women's respectively. Nancy Ledbetter Ramsbottom, a golfer, Kyle Russell, one of our baseball guys, Roderick Wright from football, and I didn't know they did vintage football, but Bobby Mitchell, vintage football, is going to be.
Yeah, well, they do. They typically will try to do a vintage pick, and so he played football.
Okay.
They have like one vintage. They don't always, but they've kind of tried to start doing this. Getting in a vintage individual, and so
that's nice. Okay.
Yeah. And this is kind of as we get closer, I can share a little bit more about it because this is what I do in the tea association.
Yes, I love it. So we should. I definitely want to know about more like what goes into that too, and like what do you know when's the ceremony?
It is September 12th, Friday, September 12th, and then all the inductees will be honored on the UTEP game on the 13th.
Nice. Oh, that'll be fun. Okay, so we'll have that coming for you closer to football season.
Yeah.
But as we are doing our little series where we highlight some women in behind the scenes in sports, similar to what you did for your career case, we are bringing on Becca Rushworth, who, if any of you are friends of Ladies of Left Field, if you've been out to a baseball game, you probably have seen Becca out there. She is a fixture in left field. Always, bringing it. She's usually dancing or wearing a weird hat or something fun. But Beck and I also went to college together. We started at Texas Student Television when she she had started already. I was a freshman. She was a sophomore. She and I also worked together at Longhorn Network. She was there for 10 years until we sunset last summer, and then immediately got a job with Athletes Unlimited, where she is the broadcast production manager. So, Becca, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Doing well. How is everyone?
Great.
Excellent.
Good. Happy to see you outside of baseball season.
Yeah. I'm in a little box in my room.
Yeah.
Office, not my room. Office. Yeah.
So, Becca, since we're highlighting women in kind of behind the scenes jobs in sports, just tell us a little bit about how you got into sports in the first place.
Yes. So I did not grow up a sports fan. I was very good at filming football and then in high school. And then I just learned to edit that. So I inundated myself with the sport. And then football was kind of like the gateway drug. So, but yeah, just learned sports from there. Learned very quickly. Got to college and really I just wanted to I was in the RTF at UT. I was in the RTF section. And I discovered Texas Student Television, and they had a couple sports shows that were into producing. Was never really into being on air, so I just got into I wanted to film the football games and film it from the sidelines. And so it was kind of the seniority thing where you had to do a couple things before you could film a football game. And so I did, and that's really how it all kind of started. Thanks, football and Texas Student Television.
Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So then professionally, you graduated from UT.
Yes.
How did you get, because as we mentioned in your intro, you spent 10 years at Longhorn Network, ESPN, and now you're with Athletes Unlimited, but how did you even get in with ESPN in the first place?
Yeah, so that was kind of a waiting game, or just really not even a waiting game, but it the timing of it all. I kind of reached out to some people at ESPN whenever I was a sports manager at Texas Student Television, sports director. Wow, now I'm a manager, so my bad. Okay. When I was a sports director at Texas Student Television, I reached out to some of the folks at ESPN that were going to be down here for Longhorn Network. Couldn't recall who they were. I'm so sorry to whoever I talked to. But it was just kind of hey, we want to do what y'all do. Could we meet up? And we ended up having some show review sessions that we would do. So we would tape an episode of College Press Box, and then we would, they would review it. And it was just kind of that relationship started there. Post-college, I was looking around for a job. I did apply for the LHN internship, but then I immediately got the station manager position at TSTV. So I didn't feel comfortable doing both, just because of the time commitment. But I kind of stayed in people's ears, and then became a runner for a lot of the productions and events. So a runner is basically just someone that goes in, it's a go get coffee kind of gal, but not really go get coffee. It's hey, we the best one was when, hey, can you go buy condoms for our mics that have to go into the swimming pool? Lord. They drew straws trying to ask me who was going to ask Becca to go buy condoms. But it's just stuff like that, stuff you need for production, not necessarily coffee, which does happen. And then I'd interviewed for, I think, Jordan's position at LHN whenever it started. Or Jordan ultimately got it, yes, which made sense because she was a fabulous intern. I also did a bunch of odd jobs around LHN now that I think about it. But eventually,
was this all while you were still a student?
No, this was
post college. Okay,
college, yeah. I did a little bit of running when I was in college, but not too much. So just post college, really kind of was around a lot, did a lot of stuff. Ultimately was offered free labor, which I'm not part of ESPN anymore, so I can say that, I guess. But I was like, yeah, I want to see what they do. And you don't have interns for like the remaining 2 weeks of whatever production you're doing. So just worked out, got a job offer later in the fall, and was with LHN for 10 years.
That's awesome. So Becca, as you've started doing all of these things, what's been some of your favorite parts?
Yeah, I think what I liked the most about the production was definitely the on-site aspect and being around other people for sure. It was very, it's very, it kind of seems simple, but just to do something that someone wants, or like to do like, to even go get those condoms. It's just like, let's
Get it done.
like I got it done. Hey, problem solved. Liked being a problem solver, liked assisting in any way that I could. I remember we went to Dallas for one of the UCLA Texas games. Good God, I cannot remember that UCLA quarterback's name, but I think it was 2014.
Yep, it was.
Okay. Yeah, and so we did our live Texas game day shows from there. And so just kind of like running around, making sure that, if we're shooting something in the Dallas Cowboys or AT&T Stadium suites, that the tapes get to the right place, that we're feeding that and just assisting there. I think traveling was really fun. It's not something that was really expected, especially since I was freelance at the time. Yeah, so that was the fun stuff that I did as a runner. When I got into Longhorn Network, I was more on the studio side, so kind of like staying put, editing and creating content and just assisting with all the shows. I think what was cool for me is that because I had so much background as a runner, that I was kind of still needed out there for some of the football games, even though they were the lovely last years of Charlie Strong. But I still got to be out there and I'm a very visual person, so I like taking photos, and I think that also assisted with some of the Longhorn Network social media that I ended up doing, but kind of fulfilled some of that just
Creative side for you.
Yeah, the creative side, where it's not like necessarily so deadline, but it's also the problem solving side, where it's like I can assist, but also like, oh hey, this is a great photo.
Yeah.
So then I guess that kind of leads into like what's been the best part of launching into the AUSL. Is that with Athletes Unlimited?
Yes. So we're Athletes Unlimited is the parent group, I guess, and then AUSL is one of the leagues. We have.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have our pro volleyball championship and we have basketball. We had softball before, but we didn't have it as a regular league. So we have this like proprietary system and unique individual scoring system. Like each week you get on a different team. That's usual like Athletes Unlimited format. So for this AUSL, Athletes Unlimited Softball League, we are going back to the regular team format. So it's just one team. Well, there's 4 teams, but your roster stays relatively consistent. If you need injured reserves or if you need a trade, something like that, we'll do that. That will happen. And it has been fun. It was very stressful at first because we all knew that this was going to happen, and yet everything just kind of waited for the last 2 weeks to really start. It's like, oh, how does this TV look, or how does this sponsored element work? Kasey, I can't remember what you originally asked because
like, I guess the best part of launching it. So I mean, but just I'm sure. So you've been in this like for a year, basically.
Correct. Yeah. So
how long has this Athletes Unlimited been around?
Athletes Unlimited has been around since like 2019, but their first game started in 2020. It was like one of those first sports leagues from COVID. And it kind of worked because it's always in one place. You don't really travel.
Okay.
And initially you don't travel. Now they travel with the USL teams and are volleyball will be split. Our season will be split in Omaha and Madison, so that'll be really fun.
Is that volleyball the same stuff that team that we have here in Austin? Are they playing that? It's something different? Okay.
It is different from Love. It's like we have some of the same players, but each week they could be on a different roster, so you get to like build your own kind of super team. And by build your own, I mean whoever's the captain gets to build their own super team each week. And that's kind of like, that's the format of AU that I came into. With AUSL, it was everyone was kind of new to it. We had Kim Ang, who is formerly the Miami Marlins general manager. She came in and was a commissioner for us, or is the commissioner for us. And that really helped us kind of establish that MLB relationship, which is good. It's like the first time they've ever invested in women's sports as like a league.
Right.
There was a lot of everyone just kind of like hair on fire. Like, we need to get this done. We need to do it. And I can't imagine what everyone else was like, because, there's uniforms that we do. Well, not in my department, but like there's a uniform department, there's operations. We also have this like creative unit. We hire wassermen out to kind of like deck out the stadiums, so that it's AUSL branded. We also have wassermen doing like the marketing and promoting for the games. So like you have this like Volts rally squad, or you have the Bandits rally squad. So it was a lot of movement in the last like 11th hour. And luckily on the broadcast side, which is where I mainly am, we just kind of have to see what's going on and then incorporate it into our broadcasts. And we package it out too. So it's not like I'm not producing games from home. I'm, making sure the producer has everything that they need as far as like, this is what the read for our AUSL tickets are. This is what ESPN wants us to do with the sister snacking. It's just, it is a little bit of like middle management. But it's okay, because I do like assisting people and getting that done. There's a lot of communication, but there's also just a lot of plates in the air whenever we started.
What did that mean, sister snacking? What?
Yeah, so sister snacking, we had a brand. We just worked with a brand. They wanted to create an official snack of the summer.
Okay.
So it really was like ice cream stuff, and I was like, oh, this will be simple. We can just do like brownie toppings on top of it. And it's like, no, you need to creme brulee that's banana peel. And I'm like, no, I'm not making that.
Yeah.
But it's just something like ESPNW is partnering with this sister snacking, which they're apparently a popular blog in New York.
Okay.
I'm going to say that for the Northeast. And now we have an official snack. I think it'll be revealed on Saturday, the 26th. So
Nice.
I did it. Yeah.
That's fun.
So on that note, you are the broadcast production manager for Athletes Unlimited. So like, what does a day in your job look like? I know you have a game tonight. So like, what does your day look like?
Yeah. So I am just kind of communicating with everyone about what's going on. Like, usually we don't have a truck on site as far as like our production control room. So the two types of different broadcasts that you can have. So what Jordan will go to like school control rooms and like produce from there, and there's cameras on site. We kind of do something where cameras are on site, and we have a production control room in Nashville that we operate out of. And that's where we broadcast the games, really. But for Tuscaloosa, we're in a truck, which is not what we usually do. So we have like producer, cameras, directors, everyone's on site in Tuscaloosa right now. So I'm not as important there, but I do need to set up like credentials, making sure talent is set up. right. Someone was just trying to call me about like polos and athlete gear, or not athlete gear. Sorry, it's like shirts just for our camera guys to wear, because they're going to be on camera. So we want them to wear AUSL stuff and not just like neon green, because that's going to really distract from the shot. So on a game day, it's actually kind of calm. I really am just monitoring the games, making sure everything's like spelled right, that we have, we're fulfilling our sales. It is usually like a chiller day. So I'm really busy like right before the season starts, because that's when we have to send everything to like eat to the networks to be approved. And what was interesting is like, you can always say there's like no day is ever the same. Some of these game days when I'm working remotely, like they're kind of the same. I'm just on Unity. They're kind of the same. I'm on Unity listening in. If the producers need something, I'll chime in. If something I think I say is funny, I'll chime in. I try not to do that because I think I'm funny a lot of the times. So you really don't need to hear me. But like last week, the Volts and the Bandits were in Round Rock, so I actually got to be on site for that, and it was like elevated stage managing. So it's like we were getting sound from our players, and our players were talking to talent. We mic up. One of the unique things about AUSL, actually AU in general, is that we talk to athletes while they play.
Oh,
So
okay.
Yeah, and like the third or fourth inning, we'll have conversations with athletes, and just, they're on defense, not really at the plate.
While they're in mid swing, let's just.
One of the fun things was like the first catcher we mic'd up, she was like, "Yeah, it's actually really fun to do it because the batters are like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Like you're just talking during their swing." So it's just getting them mic'd up, making sure the players are comfortable because they're letting us in, and like, can you hear them? Is this too loud? And just really facilitating all different areas of production. I did like being on site, and then it was like 4 days, and I'm like, okay, I'm good now. I want to go to my little office.
Let me go home and be on duty again.
Yes.
What was that like though? Because I saw pictures, like it was at the Dell Diamond, right?
Mm-hmm. It was at Dell,
and it was packed.
Yeah, it was packed. I did see that too.
Yeah. It was over 6,500 fans. It was largest softball gathering in the state of Texas, and the largest gathering for any AUSL game up until that point. And so it's been really cool to see the buy-in and the investment in the AUSL. And I like to, I don't get reflective too often, but just it's nice to be a part of something where there's like more investment coming in rather than like something that's just kind of like shedding slowly. Whereas like a previous position has just kind of, you're like, oh, buy resources. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, all this buy-in is really exciting. We're seeing that I work with marketing. I don't do marketing, but we're seeing that a lot of the player personalities are really selling. And I think, that's one of the things the Dell Diamond folks were really excited about was like, minor leagues players go in and out, could be 2 weeks, could be 2 months, but you see, Mia Scott coming back to Round Rock for 4 days, and people want to see her, and all she's doing is, well, not all she's doing, but she's DPing. She's not doing defense, but she's there to make an at bat, and you hear this roar, and you're like, oh my God, what is this? It's so cool.
That's cool. That's good. That's awesome.
Very good. Super cool. Well, Becca, in all of your roles, is there anything that you've like your best memory or like your coolest work memory?
Man, that is a good one. Good question. It was never like professional, but what stands out is it was at the time the last A&M Texas football game. And getting to kind of rush the field whenever Justin Tucker made the kick. And I rushed the field because I was trying to get a shot. I was not like trying to celebrate, but it was just, that was really cool moment to a walk-off, little kickoff, walk-off.
Yeah.
And that was in college, but that was because I was filming the sport and was a sports director. So it was a little,
that's cool.
Something sports job related.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Super fun.
What would be your dream job if you got to like pick anything? Could be sports or could be otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know actually. I do like to kind of take photos. I also like to be funny. I also just don't want, I don't know if I think I've been working so hard on detaching myself from work and like value as a position that I'm not even looking forward to as like, oh, this would be a dream job because I get to do it. It's like, if that's a dream job, then I'm just going to make that my identity. And I don't want to do that. That's something that has become very healthy in this new position where it's not as in person because it is remote and I am by myself, but it's also like, well, they don't need me right now. So I get to, disconnect. I think previously it was kind of on all the time and not really good boundaries. And this one has good boundaries. So, I don't know, dream job. I don't have a good answer for that, but
it's okay. We asked Amy the same thing and she kind of said the same thing. She was like the older you get, you kind of like focus on balance and happiness, sometimes more than you like, I don't know, like worry about your career as much.
Yeah. So,
I think that's totally legit.
But because you did get into sports,
yes,
good. What would be some advice you'd give to somebody, somebody young and in college trying to get there, about to graduate and wanting to get their foot in the door in some form of sports job, etc.
For sure. Like I recently, I didn't really realize how hard networking was, especially since I have a position, but I was trying to get someone who was doing like live clipping of our events. It's a paid position and we have like 3 people already doing it, but we needed more because we just didn't have the availability of our current people. And so like I had for a couple times had this ask out and then got some nibbles, got some friends that bought into it, and some of it just didn't come to fruition. But one gal just like messaged me on LinkedIn and wanted to she said she wanted to like talk about my position, and I'm like, well, sure, yes, that's fine. I don't really know my position that well. And I'm also not like not very good at talking about my jobs, but I was like, hey, I have this position after talking with her, not a cold call, like, hey, do you want something? But after talking with her, it's like, yeah, I have this gig that it's just 5 games, but we're looking for someone to clip, and she said she would do it, so always reached out. I think one thing I didn't do very well when I was younger was like I limited myself because I'm like, oh, I don't have that, or I couldn't imagine what the position looked like, and I have a very limited imagination in that sense, where I was like, would I fit in here? So it really is just like have the confidence of a mediocre man.
That's such good advice.
Yeah. We all need it. Except when it is a mediocre man and I have to really check. I'm like, is this me, or is this like, is he just okay?
Love it.
Yeah. So don't limit yourself and do reach out, I would say.
Love it. Now, since you are a fixture in left field, before we let you go, I know you got a game to go to, but tell me your favorite Texas baseball memory.
Oh, good one.
That is good. I would have to say Ivan Melendez, like the Titanic in Omaha.
Love that.
That was really cool. That was a good work trip that I was able to go on. I wasn't expecting that, so that was a good one. But just walking in between, like, our hotel is across the street from the ballpark, so it was like raining. My socks are wet. I actually looked back at photos of the socks and I was like, where did those socks go? Like, I don't know where, like, where did those socks go? Because I don't know where they are. But like, I had to go back to the hotel, dry them, come back. But that was really cool. That was a cool moment for Texas baseball.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. One thing I thought of while we were here, when are the AUSL championships? Isn't it coming up?
Yeah. So the championships are actually coming up this Saturday, the 26th.
Oh.
And the 27th. They are on ESPN, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. ESPN 1. So this will be our softball, or at least AUSL's first time on E1. They're being presented by Sephora. That was a pretty big announcement that came in Monday. We have Sephora as a presenting sponsor. Really jealous to be an AUSL player right now because they all got little like Sephora kits
or gifts. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I don't need it. And then I'm like suddenly getting into like, wow, I need more moisturizer. How are they getting this hair care too?
It's funny.
But yeah, it's really exciting. And yeah, it'll be fun to have an inaugural winner. And I think what's also a little more interesting is that we're going to be city-based next year, and we're going to have 2 more teams. So it's not going to be like the same kind of just touring the country. But we'll see what happens. I wish I knew more so I could say more, but I don't know more, and that's probably a good call by the higher-ups.
Hey, that's fine. That just means everyone's going to have to keep checking in on the AUSL and on you and on Ladies of Left Field.
There you go.
So again, we appreciate the time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Becca.
Yeah, thanks, Becca. Fun to see you. Fun to learn more about
Talking to
job.
you. I know.
Nice to see y'all.
Okay. Have a good day.
Everyone, watch the AUSL this weekend. See y'all in Left Field.
See you in Left Field.
Left Field.